This is a vegetable ragu made from organically sourced raw material from a farm in Kenya. Maize and beans have come a long way here, as has farming. Actually, this dish represents the journey agriculture has taken across the continent over the last couple of years. It's amazing how farming for so many people has proved to be more than an experience based on luck and hope. It's now a business you can depend on and really profit from. If we go back a little, I can show you. There's an entire chain of success behind this ragu. The benefit of this on African agribusiness is huge, as agribusiness and agro-industries already account for 30% of national income. Scaling this up will definitely make agriculture the next fast growth frontier in Africa. As a group, farmers can get loans to finance work on their farms and even do things like send their children to school as they wait for their crops to mature and sell. These loans were previously hard to get. For a sector that provides about 70% of Africa's employment, farmers got only less than 10% of total loans lent out. But things are changing as financiers realize that there are great returns in what farmers do. This right here is a great story on the power of value chain addition for farmers, companies, and nations.
We need to also reduce regulation and processes that deny the farmer the ability to be the beneficiary ultimately of the value of his product. And as I said earlier, I use the example of coffee, where regulation and processes means that the farmer who actually grows the product doesn't even know the price that he will get, and he just sits back and waits. And this is a huge disincentive. So we want to be able to bridge the gap and remove this middle linkages and be able to give the farmer that much better access to the final buyer, and in the same process help in terms of value addition, because our industrialization will be driven by value addition of our agricultural product.
See, even presidents know this value. This oil right here starts with a seed. A farmer simply has a bean. A factory can take that bean and multiply its value by hundreds. Let's now head to Rwanda, an African success story and one of the continent's emerging powerhouses, a land of 1,000 hills, an unmistakable sense of national pride, and immense opportunities. Here, in the fields and in the hearts and minds of many small-scale farmers, a remarkable agricultural transformation is taking place. The Rwanda government has taken measures to deal with food security, but national food security required greater scope. Hence, land consolidation begun, like right here. The country has embarked on a simplified land use consolidation model, whereby local smallholder farmers in a given area grow priority food crops in a synchronized fashion, keep their land rights intact, and benefit from subsidized inputs under a flagship crop intensification program. With such initiatives, Rwanda is making great strides in sufficiently feeding its people. The raw materials sourced from the farmers through the land consolidation model now produce quality fortified foods, increasing value addition, thus putting more money in the pockets of the small-scale farmers. And it's working. Like this rice farm on the outskirts of Kigali, Urimubeshi Liande and other farmers in his area consolidated their farm some years back. And through their Zamuka cooperative, they've been able to reap great returns from their aggregated produce through access to financing, subsidized inputs, and ability to secure the best price. In Rwanda, agriculture has unequivocal support from the highest office in the land, an indication of what can be achieved when leaders, government agencies, donors, and farmers share the same ideals.
What do you do with agriculture that the big majority of our people depend on? So what we did, a number of things, even before we attracted investments in this area, was to be clear about our policies and what we intended to do relative to the actual problem we had. So we concentrated on land consolidation, We focused on crop intensification. We have gone so far in land registration and making sure that land ownership has been sorted out and can be utilized for agriculture in a very sustainable way. We also made sure then we looked for resources to invest and connect with the farmers.
To ensure surplus doesn't go to waste, more is being done. For instance, the Rwandan government, in conjunction with the private sector, is building a food processing plant. Once complete, it'll produce fortified foods and baby foods from locally sourced raw materials, improving the value chain, growing the economy, and safeguarding the health of its people. Such food processing plants and many others across the country will fill up Rwandan homes with nutritionally balanced meals. This will ensure healthy, thriving families and will provide exports that will fill up trade deficits that economies struggle with across this region and the rest of Africa. Changes in policy can change the destinies of nations all over Africa and turn them into the economic powerhouses they want to be. This is the Africa you are building. Rwanda may not have that much land, but Ethiopia does. Getting the most out of land includes things like policy interventions and infrastructural investments. However, simple solutions exist to make land fertile and fruitful for farmers. This soil is fine now, but when it rains, it is so waterlogged it is unusable for crops, until recently. For thousands of years, Ethiopian farmers broke their ground with traditional tools, but a number of modifications over the years on plowing tools has led to the modern plow, a plow that allows waterlogged soils to drain. That is the power of mechanization on just a basic level. On a larger scale, mechanization is leading to a rise in entrepreneurship. Look at this young man. Unemployment is an issue all over Africa with our bulging youth population. But this young man in particular is not waiting for a job. He is creating them. Over the years, Abrahame Andreas has amassed funds to buy high-end agricultural equipment, which he then leases out to farmers, giving them access to mechanization without having to invest large sums of money. He has created a thriving business out of it, which in turn creates more business for others. Business in agriculture is not just about the farm. It's also about what happens after. Like here. These farmers have their crops ready and waiting to sell. But where? In Ghana. Agribusiness is about selling your product at the best price. There are farmers using technology to get that price for their produce with mobile phone services. Technology goes beyond markets. With farmers here in Ghana, it goes beyond information. They even get paid through mobile money. This is the Africa you are building. Infrastructure has huge benefits, not just for farmers and communities, but economies too. A 10% improvement in roads, energy, IT, and storage could increase developing countries' agriculture exports by 30%. But infrastructure is affected by budgets. Take this bread, for example. It's made from 40% sweet potato flour, which is readily available to the baker, than wheat, which we import in vast quantities. If we could make such choices, the money we save on wheat and other imports could go into our roads, hospitals, and schools. And when all these things come into play, people, processes, policy, and more, an astonishingly great Africa emerges. This is the Africa we want to see. This is the Africa you are building. This is something every farmer should experience. So seize the moment.